Hey everyone, if you know anything about the Elden Ring builds I've posted on this channel, you'll see I prioritized fun and weird with my builds. The thing about fun and weird is, it kinda sucks. And after a lovely channel audit from Lost,
what you really need if you want to grow on YouTube nowadays is that you need an angle. You need a concept. You also need to take the game that people are interested in and show them interesting things in the game. You have to teach them stuff.
I've decided to put together a build video that does just that. This weird, unassuming character you see before you might seem like a goofy little troglodyte with a funny hat, but what you might not know is he actually is a mathematically Frankensteined titan engineered to look death in the eyes and say, "Take your best shot." Now, a quick disclaimer. I did not create this build. It was given to me by a lovely individual who will go unnamed. You know who you are. A lot of effort and science went into the creation of this monster. There have been multiple documents and spreadsheets that dive into the delicious spaghetti code of this quirky game we call Elden Ring. Once you do the math and crunch the numbers, you start to realize we're a bunch of babies in Miyazaki's playpen, and he gave us way too many toys to play with. That final result of genetically engineered peak male performance is this. Now let's get into the build. Currently, I'm level 20. The lower the level you are, the much eviler this build becomes, but it definitely thrives at all level brackets. The primary objective of this build is survivability and being a general nuisance. The first thing you'll notice is the double sore seals we run in our talismans, which when you think unkillable titan, you might be scratching your head. This is where we solve the issue with math. Unfortunately, I suck at math. But the scientists in their laboratories already did the work for us, and you can go to the Source Seal Gaming link in the description to see exactly how that math plays out. All I need to know for now is defense in Elden Ring is not affected in flat numbers. They are a ratio. The lower your level, the less this ratio is affected by Source Seals, and you can undo their negative side effects pretty easily and then reap all the benefits of their upside. How do we negate the negative damage reduction side effects? We have 4 options at all times, and a variable 5th option in our toolkit that we will be running. The first is our Wonders Physic, and what we put inside of it. Our first choice tier is the Opaline Hard tier, which gives us 10% reduction to all sources. And with that alone, we have recouped all of the problems our Source Seals have given us. Now, it's time to go even further beyond! We next run the Strength Knot tier, which gives us 10 levels into Strength. This has 2 purposes. The first being that your strength level not just raises your damage, but also raises your defense to physical damage. Now for our second buff, everyone's favorite dueling consumable / STD, crabs. With 1 barbaric chomp, we now are sitting pretty with those numbers. For our third buff, we are running an offhand weapon running Braggart's Roar, which gives us extra damage, stamina regeneration, and you guessed it, damage negation. Now remember, when I said the Strength Knot tier had 2 purposes, let's go into the second purpose. Those extra strength levels allow us to 2-hand the Grafted Greatsword using the Ash of War, Oath of Vengeance, which gives us 5 stats in every stat, and that means more strength, which means, you guessed it, more damage reduction. You can safely have these buffs going during the majority of your fight. For our 5th buff, it will be used conditionally, but still an honorable mention, and that is Holy Ground, which not only heals us passively, but gives us some of that tasty damage negation. Stack all of these buffs up on a level 9, and anyone attacking you with a weapon of AR 50 would take up to 138 swings to kill you. How's that for some math? Now that we have effectively told Death they're a filthy peasant and gets no bitches, let's talk about the utility of this build. The weapon I have chosen is the Dismounter for its disgustingly good moveset, but more importantly, it can use Wild Strikes. This is important because that silly little number that tells which weapons are allowed to play the game and which can't has a health bar. The higher that number is, the higher that health bar. Weapon movesets deal varying amounts of poise damage and can be chipped away by anything that deals damage. It takes 30 seconds for that poise health to reset to full, which in a fight is a really long time. That's where Wild Strikes is your friend. Pop that baby for 1 second and boom, you're instantly reset to full. Not to mention, it gives great hyper armor, so if you want to be the monster that stands in your Holy Ground anti-Sea Bear circle, you are now an unkillable machine with a death wall that says, I see what you're going for, but what if I said, no? Of course, the dismounter is interchangeable with any Wild Strikes weapon of your choosing. For our offhand Braggart's war weapon, we are using the Sacrificial Axe. We choose this because anything that dies in the world while you're holding it gives you FP back. Need some of that juicy blue Gatorade back? Run off to a corner and let the hosts and their filthy overleveled bullgoat summons kill enemies while you reap the benefits. Fine on FP, but need some HP back? You can swap this out with the Serpent God's curved sword and the same effect will happen. Oh, is that not enough for you? I'm glad you didn't ask. I keep a mace in my inventory, or in my case, a Celebrant Skull, because skulls are edgy and cool. And add the Prayerful Strike Ash of War on it. When you hit an enemy with this, you will get 30% of your health back. It's nice and all, but landing it is kind of tough. No problem. I said enemies. In this grim world of Elden Ring, everything is your enemy, which includes the worst of them all. Furniture. Tap into your inner interior designer and press that quirky little L2 button, for it all must go! Perish in fire, mortals! You scum! You despicable garbage! You disgusting cretins! Consumables. Consumables can be strong, especially at low levels. We run a few uplifting aromatics for a little damage and a tank a shot. A couple spark aromatics for hosts and summons that like to constantly stay on top of you, rot pots for some nice status buildup, and the last few that require some explaining. First we have poisonous clumps. For starters, flinging poop at people is just good old-fashioned orangutan fun. But people might not know is that they have a weird tracking to them that makes it so you can throw them practically 90 degrees up and down. Is a host too far up a ladder where you can't aim a bow or throwing dagger at them? These bad boys will reach them, because reasons? The second being frost pots. Frost is more important of a debuff than most realize. They are saved almost exclusively for those overlevel summons, especially the bullgoat monsters. As we know, the downscaling on summons in this game is very poorly done. One aspect of the downscaling that isn't touched is armor. Summons retain the full benefits of their armor resistances when summoned into another player's game. That is why the bullgoat monsters are especially annoying. The Frost debuff is one of the only ways we can level that playing field. This is also why our weapons are infused with Frost, despite being a strength build. Lastly, we have Volcano Pots. At low levels, these things shred health. Players can stand in one for 2 seconds practically and die. Now with Marika's Soar Seal, you'll likely have 14 intelligence, which gives us access to Night Maiden's Miss. These two combined, you can absolutely smoke out a room, general area denial, or in its most extreme case, the Chernobyl radiation wall, which practically insta-kills anyone that walks into it. Wear the pot helmet, and you can amplify these volcano pots even further. Incantations. We run Dragon Ice, which has wildly low stats to use at 15 Faith and 12 Arcane. We also have Bestial Vitality. If you didn't already have enough healing, there you go. We also run all low-level resistance incantations that you can use for any type of element you come across. Notably, Fire for Rivers of Blood spam, Magic for Magic spam, and Holy for nuisances like Rings of Light and Coated Swords. We will have several spots left to add in whatever fun spells and incantations you want. The fashion can be whatever you want it to be. Since we're already being human garbage, you might as well slot at least one piece of Briar for that aim punch possibility, and the rest is up to you. So there you have it, a video that hopefully you learned a thing or two from, and I'm gonna go back to shitposting on this channel. Happy hunting, you filthy rats.